where it's a little less about the excitement and the celebration or the generosity, but maybe it's more like Joseph, the tired dad, the quiet mom, the burden carrier, the one who feels the weight of responsibility, the one who's just doing the next right thing, steady as you go. And if that's you, may you hear as we worship an encouragement from God saying, just keep going. And maybe as we worship, you think about the acts of the wise men and that call of generosity. And I know that the consumer Christmas message kind of intertwines with that too, and it adds this layer, and we lose the heart of just that open abundance. But maybe you feel stirred and connected to release joy by being intentional like the wise men. With your time, with your comfort, with your gifts. As we worship, is there someone or somewhere God is intentionally asking you to pursue and serve this season? Is there someone in your home or life or someone you might not know that you can demonstrate God's generosity to? And some of you are being invited into a shepherd moment. To go and to tell and to praise, maybe not because you feel it, but because he has come. And we can't help ourselves. So let's sing through this chorus that invites God to open our ears and our eyes and our hearts. Because again, we want it to start with what God is doing. We want it to start with what he's prompting us to. We want it to start from his glory, not muster it up in ourselves, but God, that we would be open to hear you, to see you, to move through us. So let's take some time to think about what God might be stirring in us, what he might be asking us to be open to before we conclude. So God, may you stir in us not a feeling or an emotion, not anything that starts with us and our circumstances, but may you stir in us joy on earth as it is in heaven. God, may you help us to be thoughtful, intentional, and aware of being joy releasers in the space around us, whatever that may look like. Amen. So I actually don't have a ton more to unpack. I wanted to make sure we had some space at the end to sing and move joyfully through some songs and carols. I think I gave ourselves a little bit more time than I intended, but you always plan and then you think you got less, and then I've got you here till 20 after. But I wanted there to be space so that you could, because sometimes joy takes some intentionality to get yourself into the presence of God, surrounded by a cloud of witnesses, and go, yeah, isn't God great? Right? I want us, even though hopefully I created space for you to recognize that joy doesn't need to be like, woo, let's go, let's everyone, and all the hype and all that it can look like quiet, steady Joseph. And it can look like intentional, generous giving like the wise men. But I wanted us to leave this morning with the spirit of the shepherds within us. Even if it looks different, I wanted us to have that sense of urgency, that sense of relentlessness, that sense of let's go and tell. Because with all of the characters, it began not with them feeling ready, but it began with them saying yes. So I want us to leave with that sense of let's go to Bethlehem and see. And so maybe part of the joy that stirs in you as we wrap up worship this morning is an invitation and a joy and an excitement to see Jesus, to run to the manger, to protect time, to just come before him in quiet time and in prayer, to crank the worship music louder than Mariah Carey sometime this week, to feel compelled to come and see and to go to Jerusalem and see Jesus. Or maybe that this morning you will feel joy stirring up in you to go and tell. That after you've tasted and seen of God's goodness, after you've knelt down at the manger, after you've experienced that joy, you can't help but tell people. And you're going to have lots of opportunities this season. You're seeing Uncle Bob, and you're chatting with your neighbor because you're dropping off, the Christmas card. You're interacting with people who work at stores. You have lots of opportunity this season to let joy move through you, to go and tell. And again, you've heard us speak lots here about how telling gets to look different for every person, right? You might be like one of those shepherds that's like elbowing people out of the way and running to, to go and tell. But I know our community, we're a little bit more careful. We're probably not pushing anyone. I know, surprise, surprise. We're a little bit more careful, but doesn't mean it can't be generous and abundant. That when we go and tell, as we demonstrate, as we give, as we serve, that it will just abound out of us, that we won't overthink it, that we will just can't help ourselves. So maybe today's invitation is a little bit less about feel more joy and share it. Maybe it's simply like the shepherds and say, let's go. Let's go to Bethlehem. Let's go and tell. Go with what you have. Go with where you are. Go with the joy that God has already placed in you. And if you're feeling stumbling blocks because there's a lot of stuff going on in your life that it's hard for you to think outside, my first encouragement would be to go to Bethlehem and see Jesus. But my other encouragement would be, and I say this because I have to tell myself this too, that sometimes I just have to stop looking at the stuff that's in the way. Sometimes I just have to stop looking at myself and my story. And one of the greatest ways to move us into joy is by sharing joy, even if you don't feel it. Because, my friends, joy isn't meant to be static. It's meant to move. And when it moves, it multiplies, just like that little boy who couldn't contain himself. And the same kids who were side-eyeing him and going, I'm not sure, suddenly got caught up in that. Wouldn't it be great that we left this place this morning and we were stirred, we were compelled, the joy bubbled in us in such a way that the people around us, maybe who were first looking at us and going, I'm not sure, get caught up in the joy of Christ. So I'm going to invite us to stand, and we're going to spend some time singing. I know not for all of us singing stirs up joy, but we have an incredible opportunity to come and worship, to allow, the music and the lyrics. If you find yourself tapping a little bit, that's all right. If you find yourself clapping a little bit, whatever you need to do to invite the presence of God, the glory of God, because it starts from Him, to be able to move out of us. And what that looks like, that's between you and God. I'm not going to say it has to look this way or this way or this way, but may the joy of Christ move through us this season. Let's worship.
Behold your King, before him gladly bend, his power and glory evermore proclaim. Sweet hymns of joy and grateful chorus raise we. Let all within us praise his holy name.
As we continue to sing and worship, I encourage you, if maybe you need a little encouragement in your joy, maybe there's something that you want help lift it up, that the joy can flow through you. Liz would love to pray for you. And I'm going to encourage you, even as this song is happening, often we start off our meetings and our gatherings sharing goodness of God. And Kelly said, I didn't do a question, an opener question, because there wasn't a lot of people in the pews yet. So I'm going to flip it, and our little mixer question is going to be at the end as we worship. I want you to share some joy, share one good thing that you are celebrating, one goodness of God, and let that spark joy. Let it, even just by speaking it and declaring something about who God is, how you've seen him at work, and may that begin to move through us. Sometimes it's as simple as just declaring who he is, that he's come down and he's moving. And so let's continue to share that, to allow joy to move through us as we step into our day and our week. And then as you see fit, as you need to be blessed, continue to share joy over coffee and cookies and into the spaces and places that your day and week holds. So at least one person, and extra challenge, don't just pick the person you came with, all right? Allow joy to move through you. Share one thing. Let's worship.